changes. The referee for all today's matches, Victor County's own Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Jared McIntosh. Introducing first, this man is a blue belt, representing Henzo Gracie and Taylor Gang Jiu-Jitsu.
To the white
Fighting out of Texas, Halifax,
to the right
Nate O'Brien.
We are going
This
to
man is a purple belt, representing Police Jiu-Jitsu and fighting out of Chino Pines martial arts in Halifax. Colinho,
and here we go. 15 minutes. Colin McMichael in the left, white, Nate in black. Okay, Colin looks to establish the guard pull early. But we know that that's not part of Nate's game. He's an aggressive guard passer, so he wants to stay on top. Nate goes through a cut through. Colin sits up, looking to reverse the position. Nate with the underhook, Colin with the whizzer. I'd like to welcome my co-host, Craig Sutherland, joining me right now to help with the live stream. And you're talking to Danny the Tornado Vanderlands.
Thanks, Dan. My last name's Ferguson, but that's just fine.
I'm so sorry for calling him Sutherland all these years.
This is how these two had a match recently at the Abaya Championship, and I know that Colin specifically asked for this rematch. Nate had the figure 4 grip for a second there. He'd like to use that to help pass and look for the submission.
Colin deep, deep, deep inside his notorious half guard. Colin told me before the fight that although he lost a close match to Nate several months ago, it was his to win. And Nate comes up on top for the 2 points.
No points at all in this, but that would be 2 points under IBJJF rules. It's submission only. We're getting used to that too. No points, no pins.
Submission only, the first of its kind in Canadian grappling history. Similar to the Metamoris experience.
Another great event recently, Polaris.
Exactly. It's becoming the next big thing.
Nate's trying to use those 2 grips on the one side to get past.
Nate with his notorious Toreando passing style. But Colin can be relentless from the bottom, especially when he gets in deep half guard. He let Nate out last time. But there we go. Nate looks to establish.
He's trying to get some kind of back control.
Yeah. Again, no points.
No points, but he's still going to want those hooks. He's got the bottom hook. That's the tough one to get. He can attack the neck from here, but he looks to get the top hook.
Okay, and he establishes.
He's got lots of time.
We're just under 3 minutes into the match, folks. We have a lot.
I think Nate's going to try it. Yeah, he's trying the Pedro roll. I feel bad because I taught that in a class at Titans last week. Nate's trying it tonight, and it didn't work out. He wound up on the bottom there. Just didn't have the neck tight enough and didn't have good control before he went for it. That would have wound up in a bow and arrow choke that I know is one of the submissions tonight that he's looking for. Let's see how Nate does on the bottom. Does Colin consider himself more of a guard passer, Dan? Or a guard player?
Colin would say he's comfortable everywhere, but I see him more as a deep half guard player, predominantly. However, he's by no means uncomfortable in this position.
So for the people listening on the stream, I know this. These may not be names that you know, but these are 2 young studs coming up in Nova Scotia. Both these guys representing clubs out of Halifax, and I know that Colinho is quite active in the online jiu-jitsu world. Oh, triangle attack. Triangle attack.
He's breaking that posture. He's working hard to control it. I do know that Colin has an exceptional triangle defense, but this is a bad place. He's in deep. Fortunately, Colin has that knee pinned on the ground, which is
he's giving a thumbs up,
alleviating some of the pressure. Like I said, Colin does have a great triangle defense, but Nate's going to go for broke here.
Yeah.
Colin doing a good job of keeping that knee of Nasty Nate O'Brien pinned on the ground, like I said, to alleviate some of that pressure. But nonetheless, one has to imagine there's not too many places that Colin can go from here.
So this is one of our situations with tonight's event. You'll see that there's a group of guys at the front of the stage making sure people don't roll off. If you imagine the old lumberjack matches from the world of professional wrestling,
yes, sir.
It makes sense that the first Pictou County super fights are in lumberjack style.
That's right.
Nate's trying to adjust the angle.
But Colin's making it that much more difficult by adjusting the angle himself. And I think Colin's going to get out of here. I really do. And I'm concerned that Nate might expend a little too much energy trying to lock this in. We'll have to see what happens.
I'm sure both these guys have been doing 15-minute rounds leading up to this. This will be the first time either of them have competed under black belt rules, but 15-minute rounds shouldn't be strange to them. This can get tiresome and, frankly, like hard on the ankle and knee joint when you're stuck in that position for a long time.
Yeah, we can't hold this forever. Something's got to give.
Dan, you're a triangle guy. You've won some MMA fights by triangle, I believe. Where can he go from here? Can he come in at the back?
I think if Colin was to step over, to bring one of his legs over Nate's body, he'd certainly relieve the pressure. If Nate can try to square up, and what I mean is if he can try to get his left knee that's on the floor pointed up into the air, where he can square up such that Colin is directly over his hips or almost facing his belly button. But right now, Colin is working very hard to face the ground beside Nate and essentially relieve that pressure.
Looks like Nate's thinking about giving it up. But he's got Colin's arm across it. I wouldn't be surprised. Look,
he's doing better than ever, actually. He's getting that angle.
He will try to turn to the mounted triangle. It's definitely a position
this is getting nasty. They don't call him Nasty Nate O'Brien. This is jiu-jitsu, that's nasty for the record. He is a decent young man. Fortunately, we have a little more light.
Looked like Nathan was going to try to attack the armbar from the spiderweb position coming out of that triangle, but it didn't pan out. That position, that series has ended. They're going to start over again in sort of a referee's position, if you're familiar with that from wrestling.
For all you BJJ practitioners out there, we are attacking the turtle.
Ha!
Slightly different language, different results.
Nice roll by Colinho. Nate is again on the pant legs. He's going to look to pass.
So I think Colin is going to be more comfortable from here and more aggressive. Nonetheless, Nate's also an aggressive guard player, so it's hard to say where this is going to go from here. I think Colin will look to establish that deep half guard if he can.
I know I was saying earlier that Colin, you see him quite a bit on the online community. I see him on Reddit now and again, making posts, and considers himself a real student of the game. Nate O'Brien is a grinder. I don't know that this guy has a Facebook page. He doesn't care about the online grappling community so much unless he can get some instructional videos. Both of these guys are training full-time and well prepared for this event.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've had the pleasure of training with both these guys, Craig, and I think it's safe to say they're quickly moving up. Nate's going to stand up and look to cut that right knee through, but Colin is going to invert and shut that down.
Great defense by Colin.
Absolutely. It's a good time, folks. We're glad you could be here. For those out in the live stream world, we thank you for your time and patience. And
some deep, deep mouth-open breaths there from Nate, and I wonder if this relentless attack of his isn't wearing him out a bit.
Yeah, he's been aggressive. It's a 15-minute match. Colin hasn't come out as strong as I thought he would. Nate is as tough as he always has been, so there's not far to go when you put these two people in a room together. Something's going to happen. Something has to give, folks. Again, no points allotted, submission only. But Nate is definitely in a dominant position, and you said he likes the bow and arrow choke, Colin?
Yeah, he loves it. He loves the bow and arrow choke. He trains quite a bit with Josh Presley, who's developed that position quite a bit as of late. Josh Presley, of course, a brown belt that we'll be seeing in action later tonight, and probably one of the most decorated jiu-jitsu competitors out of Nova Scotia. Certainly still on the rise.
Yeah, and definitely has his work cut out for him facing Muncher Kara of the Marcelo Garcia brown belt dream team, soon to be the black belt dream team, right here in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. Again, Colin playing that deep half guard. He feels comfortable here.
I've seen Nate training a crucifix with the figure 4 or Kimura grip lately, and I wonder if he's going to go to that same place. I'd like to give some shout-outs to the online community because I know Nate was looking at a Sapiens crucifix gifts, attacking the collar. Moves to the top position.
You know who else we'd really like to get a shout-out to is Mr. Donaire. He's the king of Donairs on the local scene. You'll notice a big patch on the back of Nate's pants. That is the Mr. Donaire patch.
If you aren't familiar with the Donaire, ladies and gentlemen, please come to Nova Scotia and have one of our sloppy meat log treats.
And if you're not familiar with the Donaire, you'll probably not care that it was invented right here in Bedford, Nova Scotia. Not too far from where we are tonight, so...
It is an adaptation of the Turkish doner kebab, recently enjoyed by Anthony Bourdain for the first time, jiu-jitsu aficionado and foodie Anthony Bourdain.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Nate looking over at the cameras, wondering where to go from here, because I think Colin has him in a little bit of a situation. He might be threatening that left arm. I don't know if he's trying to pull that out for an arm bar. The angle right now is hard to see. I know that without Colin getting his other leg over, he's going to be in a lazy position, and the arm bar will be difficult from there.
I think Colin's going to have a sweep attempt here.
Okay.
He's going to try to get Nate's weight up on his knees a bit there. See that?
Yes, sir. We are going for a ride. Again, Nate relentless with the pressure. Definitely a man of his word. Nate said he came here to put the pressure on, and he's living up to it.
Colin just recently received his purple belt, I believe less than a week ago.
From Edgar Luque
of Cia Paulista.
Edgar made the trip up from Brazil to New Brunswick, which is right beside Nova Scotia for those of you viewing around the world. The Maritimes includes Nova Scotia and PEI, New Brunswick.
Dan and I are going to talk a little bit later about the history of jiu-jitsu in Nova Scotia. It is colorful and not quite what you would expect from a place that's kind of dangling off the edge of the continent in the North Atlantic. Look at this pass.
There's Nate with the Toriando pressure again. Some deep breaths from Colin, but...
Surprised he didn't try to come around and flatten Colin. I don't know if he's looking to try to mount or... Yeah, I think that was a mistake.
I think the submission-only event is certainly something to adjust to.
Right to the back.
You know, I'm impressed with Nate tonight. He is on fire. He's got that top and bottom hook in. Again, taking the back, and I believe this is the second time.
He's got his arm across for the choke there. He's got him on. He's got him onto the side of the choking arm, but he lost it there. Oh, look at this. Black belt rules, folks.
Anything goes. We have a toe hold.
I wonder which of these guys has more experience with footlocks.
You know, both of them being blue belts for the majority of their time. Colin just getting his purple. I'm not sure as to how they'll transition into the world of black belt overnight.
Well, I think that I know that Colin trains a lot with Jesse Allen, who's quite a good leg lock game, and I know that... there
was a little attempt at his own toe hold.
And I know that you and I both know that Kevin Taylor of Taylor Gang Jiu-Jitsu in Halifax, where Nate trains, he doesn't even believe in IBJJF rules and just teaches calf cranks and bicep slicers and neck cranks and all sorts of nasty business.
He believes in submissions. Submissions, not positions. He technically believes in both, and I have to say anyone in the Halifax area take an opportunity to drop in and train at Team Titans with Peter Martel and Kevin Taylor, a.k.a. Taylor Gang and the Martel Cartel. Two of the first Henzo Gracie black belts in Canada. A little bit of New York, Nova Scotia, New Glasgow history from there. We are absolutely seeped.
Look at that. Nathan, jump to the other side, come on to the back.
Again.
This is a great technical match so far from both guys.
Absolutely. It's been fun. And it's just beginning. We're a little bit over the halfway mark. Nate with a hook in again. Clear to say that under IBJJF rules, Nate would be winning. I think he'd be up maybe 8-0 at this point. But hey, it's submission only. And Colin is in it to win it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, Colin may well be playing a rope game just into this 1 minute.
1 minute in a 15-minute match. This has been a long time for both these guys.
It's a long time to wrestle another man.
Absolutely. Any of you out there have not tried BJJ, give it a try. It's an amazing experience. Once again, Nate forcing Colin into a turtle, but Colin regains his guard. Nate spins to the back beautifully. Gets that top hook in. Again. Looking to hunt those back attacks in nasty Nate O'Brien style. Colin wants to give a shout out to his lovely girlfriend, Patricia.
Nate's attacking again. Looking for the arm. Looking for the triangle. There it is.
Is it black?
Burst of energy.
We've got a vote.